Hi there, good afternoon. Welcome to East Carolina University. My name is Chris Stansbury. I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor for the Division of Student Affairs. Emily Lynn Adkins, as many of you know, our Parent Family Programs Associate Director and all things when it comes to parents as far as your point of contact. We did want to take a few minutes to give you a quick update about the hurricane, now tropical storm Michael, that is heading from the Florida Panhandle up through the southeast and the east coast of the United States, and particularly how it's going to impact East Carolina University and your students. Answer some of your questions that we might have that have come in. We'll touch on the alert status of what's going out, what the expectation for that is. So real quick off the top, let's just give you, as we know, as of 12 noon, if you're watching this live, if you're watching recorded, we're doing this at 12 o'clock. The latest that we have for the impacts for Eastern North Carolina, particularly for Pitt County and Greenville and East Carolina University, we're expected to have rain begin sometime in the next hour to hour and a half. The good news is the amount of rain has significantly dropped. As of this time yesterday, we were in the 4 to 5, 6 inches of rain window during about a 6-hour period. That is now down to about 1 to 2 inches because the storm has continued to push further off to the west, which means less impacts for ECU's campus. We are still on the outer edges of some of those tropical storm force winds. So we're going to start seeing the winds increase as we go 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock hour. It'll pick up in the sustained category to 10, 15, 20 miles an hour. It's starting to pick up a little bit outside in spurts. Some of the gusts will not be as severe as we thought. Originally yesterday, we were in the 40, 50 mile an hour range monitoring. Now it's down to about 25 to 30 in those gust periods. And so the number of significant impacts that we're expecting has really pushed the storm to the west and has reduced a lot of our risk to our area. So that's a little bit about where the storm and the situation is for our area. That did prompt ECU putting out an alert. Emily Lynn, you can kind of fill everybody in on where we are with that.
Absolutely. So first I want to mention that our alert website is right here, ecu.edu/alert. If you have not already signed up for alerts, please make sure you do that so that way you are staying up to date and keeping informed about what's happening on campus. Of course, the Parent Family Programs website and social media accounts all update with those alert information as well. So just a rundown of what the alert said this morning. Classes after 3 p.m., starting after 3 p.m. will be canceled today. We are anticipating that wind and rain, as Chris mentioned, so we want to keep our students safe. Any classes starting after that point will be canceled and students should hunker down. Another thing to mention is that we do anticipate that classes will resume as scheduled for Friday morning. So right now, this afternoon, classes will be canceled, but tomorrow morning, they will resume as scheduled.
And one of the things that's different for a lot of people that are going, well, we just had Florence that came through, and now you've got Michael that's coming through. Why is this so much significantly different? Obviously, the direct impact was one as it came right into North Carolina and up the Wilmington area. This is not that. It came up through Florida, so by the time it gets to us, it's far less. The other part of that is Florence was crawling. It was going about 2 miles an hour, and so it was just leaving a consistent barrage of rain as it went through. This one's moving up in the 20 mile an hour range. So this one's kind of like driving through a school zone speed that you're going through. This one's going to get in and get out of here pretty quickly. So actually the expectation is by tomorrow, we're going to have a beautiful day. It's going to be 75 degrees probably throughout the weekend, beautiful weekend for football. So it's really kind of what we're looking at is, if you're familiar with Eastern North Carolina at all, we get these 30-minute drop out of the sky thunderstorms, and then they're gone. This one's probably going to be about 12 hours. So it's a little bit more extended. So what you're likely to see is rain falling much quicker. You may have some flash flooding. So some of those streets, you'll get water up on the curb. As soon as that rain and the wind subsides, that'll quickly dissipate and go away. And that'll be pretty much what we're looking at for the majority of this. Now, we have gotten some questions already, some that have come in either the parents' Facebook page or ECU's Facebook page. Some of those are
yes, so a few questions that we've received already. Let's say that your student has a class starting at 2 p.m. The expectation is that your student goes to class at 2 p.m. So if they feel that they cannot get there, or it's unsafe for them to travel, sometimes our commuter students have worries about traveling, they should communicate with their professors. But any classes starting at 2 p.m., the expectation is that your student would go to class.
Yeah. And we make that decision based on all the things that go with it. We have transit buses that have to run. If we can't run transit buses on the roads, we can't go to classes. The expectation from what we hear out of our transit folks is we should not have any issues, and probably even a little bit past our window, they feel very comfortable driving into that 20, 30 mile an hour winds, really not impacting any of their service operations. However, we don't want to take those chances. So we feel that that's a pretty good time for cutting off those classes. So again, if they start at 3 p.m. or after, that's where you want to make sure. Now, if you can't make it, we always go with a little bit of what we say. If you don't feel good, trust your gut, right? If you don't feel like something doesn't feel right, maybe I shouldn't get on the road. If you're a commuter and you feel like I go to that 2 o'clock class and I'm going to be leaving and it may be in a really bad situation because I'm in a further western part of the area, communicate with your faculty member. Reach out, talk to them, let them know, say, hey, I'm in the Goldsboro area. I'm a little closer to Raleigh where they're getting a little bit more rain. I have a concern I can't make it, and let them know. And that's really a big piece. A lot of times people just don't come. They don't know, the faculty member doesn't know any better, and they just assume the student didn't come. Other questions that we've gotten have been, are you worried about the safety of the campus? Are you worried about tree damage and flooding damage? We're not. We have been through some of these situations before. Florence was a really good run to get us ready for a lot of what we've seen. And by all accounts right now, this is going to be just a big rainstorm. So we're going to keep this kind of relatively short. We wanted to keep you informed and give you the opportunity to ask questions if you have any. We will have folks from across campus that are going to be monitoring the Facebook site. Emily Lynn and her team obviously will. We've got student affairs folks. The ECU official social media accounts are monitoring their accounts. If you have questions and you're not really sure, some of our parents in the Northeast that don't necessarily know the full geography of North Carolina, and you see the Weather Channel and somebody's standing there holding onto a sign and they're blowing away, that's not going to be us. Okay, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. We didn't evacuate any of our students. Everybody's good to go. We'll cancel some of our programs for tonight to encourage people not to go out, but otherwise we expect to be okay.
Yep. So just a reminder to stay updated through our social media and also with ECU alerts, and we'll be in touch as more information is provided.
And if you're interested in more information about how we make some of these decisions around the storms, we're going to have a special cupola conversation partnering with family programs with Parents Live on October 29th at 5 p.m. We're going to have some of our administrators and some of our environmental health and safety folks that are going to answer questions and talk about what goes into the decision-making process for how we get to these, whether it's a cancellation or not, and make our plan. So feel free to join us on that as well. Until then, take care and be safe.